slash and pivot command. This is a midi skirt where I have put a line down at the knee line, and then below the knee I have pivoted, done the slash and pivot command in order to kind of spread this out so it will drape. So the first thing I need to do here is to locate the knee line. On this particular one, it's 24, so I'm going to locate a point 24 inches from the waist. I'm going to draw a line across from that point, intersect it to the other side, cut the center front at that point, and cut the side seam at that point. The next thing I want to do is to place multiple points here. Let me zoom window into here. I'm going to place 8 points along the knee line and along the hem line. Right click at one end of the line. I want to go down here and place 8 points. And come down here and locate 8 points. Then we're going to draw lines between those points. I just right clicked on each point. Now we need to break this line at each of these points. Click once, double right click. And we need to do the same down here. Click once, double right click. And pivot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right click at the pivot point. Right click at the point you want to spread. Drag around all of these. Hit apply. Let's spread them 1 inch, and we're going to rotate to the left, so that's going to be counterclockwise. Again, 1, 2, 3, third line. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to select these lines. And I'm right clicking at the pivot point and right clicking at the spread point. I'm going to select these two. 1 inch counterclockwise, 1 inch counterclockwise, and then this will be the last one. Right click, select these. 1 inch counterclockwise. Didn't work, try it again. One inch counterclockwise. And there's that. Now we need to do, this actually needs, no, this has been rotated. You can see this space right here. So now we need to do these 4. And we're rotating them clockwise. So this one has been rotated. We need to start here. Here's the pivot point. And this is the this is the point where we want to spread. I'm going to drag around those, deselect that, and this is 1 inch clockwise. This for this. Selecting all of these. I'm holding my shift key down to select the multiple objects. 1 inch clockwise. Pivot point, spread point. Now I will say it really doesn't matter too much if you get these lines up here and down here included in your pivot, because we're going to draw arcs. And we've got other guides that we can use. And then this one is the last one. Hold your shift key. 1 inch clockwise. Okay. Let's do an intersection from here to here. And from here to here. And that can go away. And now let's do an arc. From here to here. I'm just going to kind of now I know that this needs to be 10.5. No, I need to draw an arc down here first. Right click, right click. I'm just going to right click down here. I'm going to drag around this and delete. Making sure I don't delete my arc. Unselect the arc, delete, and then I can just intersect up here, just so we still have lines available for visual inspection. And there we go. So that'll create a nice drape. Now, of course, you won't be able to put the center front on the fold. Let's look at the grain lines. I'm going to put a two-way grain. We know that this is 13 inches, so I'm going to make it 10 inches vertically placed. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more. So I'm going to zoom window into here. Copy. 8 copies. And spread them out. All right. So we've got our grain line. Now let's do our slash and pivot with the grain line. So we're going to go from middle, right click at the pivot line, right click below it at the end of the same line. I'm going to drag around all of this. That's including the grain lines. Apply 1 inch counterclockwise. This line has been pivoted, so this is our next pivot line. Right-click at the pivot point, right-click on the other end, select that line and everything to its right, including your grain lines. Make sure you're holding your Shift key instead of your Control key. Everything to the right of it. This one has been moved, so we're up here. Right-click, right-click, everything to the right. Hold your Shift key. And everything to the right of it. One inch counterclockwise. Now you see how the grain line is starting to tilt? This has been moved, that has been moved, this is the next one. Hold your Shift key, select this, all your grain lines, and everything to the right of it. One inch counterclockwise. These three have been moved, so now it's this guy's turn. That's why I collect these little marks down at the bottom. Including your grain lines. One inch counterclockwise. So all of that has been moved, and you can see how your grain line has changed. Let's go ahead and do the other side. So this guy here is moved, and there's an inch between here, so I'm going to start at this guy. And everything to the left of it. One inch clockwise. This is the next one. And then this one would be moved. So you can see how the grain lines tilt, and that's going to give you your drape. We can just kind of get rid of these grain lines. So the question is, if you're going to be putting this on the straight grain here in the center, and it's going to start being cut on the bias towards the outside edges at the center front and the side seam. But what if you want this to be on the fold on the center front? Well, you can achieve that by creating a circle. Before I started my slash and pivots, I measured the knee line width on the front. So that's 10.5 times 2 is going to be 21. So 10.5 is the number we need to remember. I'm just going to draw a small circle. Go up to Utilities, Calculate and Scale. This is 7.753. and I want it to be 10.5, 10.5. All right. We need to draw an X in the center. So I'm going to select my line tool and I'm going to right click at that center point, hold my control key, go all the way up past that, right click, and then I'm going to intersect here to here, here to here. I'm going to create a copy of this. Click once, click twice. I'm going to rotate by angle, right click in the center. I want to rotate it 90 degrees. Then I'm going to get rid of the circle and draw arcs. I'm going to draw an arc from the center front to the center back. I'm right clicking on each of these points. Now what I need is a 13-inch length. This was a 13-inch length. So I'm going to draw another line, right click here, hold your control key, drag all the way over, like that, let everything go, do not click your mouse, type in 13 for 13. Spacebar, repeat. I need to move this over. Spacebar, line, right click, control key down, drag out, let everything go, do not click your mouse, type in 13. Spacebar, right click, control key down, drag down, do not click your mouse, let everything go, type in 13. So then, when I draw my arc here, right click, and right click in the center. The length is going to stay at 13 inches. Now, in order to get this right here, I'm going to just put some text in. This is the center front. This is going to be the side seam. We'll select that text, copy it over to the other side, and I'm going to select the center front text, copy it to the back, and change it to center back. So here's the center front. This will be placed on fold. This is the side seam. And then this would be placed on a grain of fabric. So let's go ahead and place our symbol. Place on fold, 10 inches, horizontally. Flip. Actually, I'm going to flip it back. Now that we've got the circle done, we need to separate these. So if you look here, we need 4 wedges, each 1/4 of the full circle. Since we want to do this on the fold line, I'm going to select everything below this center front. Actually, I'll select everything above the center front. I'm just going to select everything connected with this wedge, make a copy. I'm going to put a text object in here. So I've got 2 of the wedges here, which is half of this. Now I need to get one more wedge that we're going to cut 2 of. So I'm going to drag around this one. I don't need this, and I don't need that, or this. All right, so we've cut 2 of these because we're cutting on the fold. So I'm going to cut 2 on this. Now we've got a grain line here. That same grain line will need to be transferred to here. Two-way grain line, 10 inches horizontal. All right. Now this and this one and this are going to be changed to dashed stitching line. And so will this arc here. We need to go ahead and offset our stitching lines by 5/8 of an inch. And intersect. And then we need to offset for our hemline. Let's do a 1.5 inch hemline. And intersect again. All right. So this would be grouped, and that would be grouped. So what's going to end up happening is this is going to be your center front, and this will be on the fold. You will have side seams and a center back seam, which actually corresponds to the patterns. It will correspond to the patterns because normally on the pattern, this is the back and this is the front. This will be on the center front fold, and then we'll have the fold continuing down to this little flare area. You will have side seams stitched on the front and back. So this is the center back, here's the side seam, and here's the side seam. And then again on the back, you're going to have the center back zipper, which will mean this is the side seam. So you're going to have a flow of continuity.